Coming up next, we're going to be talking about water conservation in San Antonio and finding the right garden style for you. A garden style that would include lush, beautiful gardens, but not waste a whole lot of water. Karen Guz from San Antonio Water System Supplier, is great to have you with us.
Thank you.
Thanks for being here. And, you know, San Antonio has made great strides. The people there have really gotten water aware, haven't they?
They have. San Antonians are pretty passionate about water. We joke that it's illegal to waste water in San Antonio, but more than it being illegal, it's culturally not okay. If there's water running down the street and people can't see why, they're going to call my office and expect us to do something about it, and that's great.
Well, it's taking responsibility for the most vital resource we have.
Yes, it is.
It's that basic, really. And so the people are responding not just by calling in, but by changing their habits and their practices.
Yes.
And you've got a splendid new tool to really help them do that. It's Garden Style SA. And you tell me about the impetus for this.
Well, we've been teaching San Antonians about water resilient landscape options. Water saver landscapes is another term we use. And we really wanted to make sure people understood the message that you can have a water resilient landscape that is gorgeous.
Yeah.
And that there are so many different styles that you can do in San Antonio, in Austin, wherever you are in Central Texas. So we coined this term Garden Style San Antonio and created a website, gardenstylesa.com, that is all about finding your garden style San Antonio and then embracing it and having fun with it.
And I still hear people say xeriscapes,
Yeah.
and that's a mental attitude, which means that those kind of landscapes, those water-saving landscapes, equals zero.
Yeah, so we don't use that term. Nobody knows how to say it, right? It starts with an X. You know, how do you pronounce it?
Right.
And somehow the mental image is not that colorful, interesting, lots of texture landscape that we believe is possible while still saving water.
Right. So it doesn't have to be cactus and rocks.
Now, if you like cactus, that's okay. The cactus and succulents are a good option in South Central Texas. But that's just one style that you can embrace. You can have very different looking landscapes depending on your style preference, what your house looks like, what would go with it.
Well, you know, some people like the kind of informal, lucid formality of a native garden without straight lines and curves and things like that. And some people like, for example, a nicely trimmed lawn. And you can even have just kind of that kind of landscape if you choose wisely, right?
You can, and one of the things we talk about is sort of a traditional landscape that's a water saver one. And we think of it as there are some folks who want very simple.
Exactly.
They want it neat, they want it simple, they don't want to, maybe you don't want a lot of maintenance.
Right.
We still encourage them to take a balanced approach. Think through your living areas. Even in a traditional landscape, you probably are South Central Texas. You want to have an outdoor living area that's pervious, gorgeous patioscape. And then plenty of evergreen material that maybe we think of them as backbone plants. They stay the same all the time.
Screening, backbone plants, those kinds of things,
And then functional turf. Some turf grass that, why do you have it there? That has soil underneath it and is hopefully a drought tolerant variety. And that's a water saver landscape. Can be traditional, or as you say, it can be a wildscape that that is more informal looking and more like a natural, evokes a natural area.
Yeah, and you mentioned soil, and I want to dwell on that for just a minute because it plays such a critical role in the survival of different plants. There are places here in Central Texas where you can dig and dig and dig and never strike limestone, and you'll have clay, maybe clay, but you'll have it. And there are places where you take your shovel and it's hard to even get it in the ground because all the limestone.
You might break your, I moved to Texas and sent my husband out with a little hoe and asked him to till up an area for me, and my introduction to Texas gardening was that he came back with that in 2 pieces. And it was welcome to the hill country of Texas. And so you're right, you know, where I live, we don't have much soil, so pickaxe might be your tool of choice in an area like that, or you're in an area where you've got heavy clay and very different challenges.
So you can amend the soil in heavy clay. It's pretty easy to do. You can add in something like granite sand and compost. But in the rocky situations, you might want to, if you can, put in something that's got some fertility to it, a little compost or something like that. But really, it's better just to choose plants that like that.
That's part of our garden style philosophy too, is to talk to people about, it's easier not to fight Mother Nature, not when you have good options anyway. So why fight it if there are good hill country plant options for thin soils?
Right.
Then don't fight it. Now grass is never meant to live in places where there are thin soils. As one of the research findings there's been, that more important than the species of grass is that grass really does need a soil reservoir.
Exactly.
So if you've got thin soils, think carefully about where and how much grass, and then pick your hill country plants that can thrive in those rocky soils and love that good drainage.
Yeah, you can go with ground covers, or you can even grow with grass-like plants like sedges and things like
True.
that.
That has become actually quite trendy. There's wonderful wildflower grass seed mixes that can be really attractive, and then sedges have become a really cool, trendy option, as well as ornamental grasses that have color and texture.
Yeah, and you can also invite the neighbors, in meaning the wildlife, and create habitat gardens, and that will still be water-wise kinds of landscapes.
Yes.
So there are lots of different ways to go about this. Let's talk about one thing that I'm kind of excited about as a kind of movement. It seems like it's gaining some traction. Is the idea of rain gardens or that kind of thing. Tell me, are you all incorporating those into landscapes?
We are starting to. It's a new term for people. So just getting rain garden into people's vernacular is a struggle.
Yeah, right.
The San Antonio River Authority in San Antonio has been great about carrying the flag for low impact development and rain gardens. We have coupon programs that help people get rid of part of their grass and do 200 square feet at a time.
Okay.
And so one of the things people can do as part of that program is decide to do a rain garden. So there's created as part of our Garden Style San Antonio website, there's a link to some video on how would you do a home rain garden. And that's intended to be a natural place where water can go and soak slowly into the soil, instead of rushing off of your property, carrying with it natural soil and organic matter.
Right, or the oil from your driveway.
Right, or oil from your driveway. So it's supposed to be, slow sink spread that water and keep it on site as much as possible.
Well, there's tremendous benefit in that, environmental benefit. It helps kind of mitigate or tamp down flooding.
Yes.
It slows that water down.
Yeah.
Cleans the water up. And then it releases it slowly so that the water will still be there for the streams.
Yes, and so it can be a landscape amenity.
Yeah.
And so the intention is it's dry sometimes, and then sometimes that depression that you're sure can drain is also other times wet. So the trick, and if we've coded our plant material as on Garden Style so that you can see which plants can take that dry wet and would be good for that kind of setting.
That's good. That's important information.
That's a unique gardening challenge, is what can take both.
Right. Well, it sounds like you're offering the public a lot of really great information, very useful information. A lot of people don't realize how much power is in their own hands, right? Now, San Antonio is doing this for a very smart reason, which is water's a precious resource in Texas. And as the state continues to grow, there will be millions and millions more people out there watering their gardens and needing that water.
Yeah.
And but the homeowner really can make a difference here, right?
Yes, they can. And I think that people are looking for that. We've created even on there a calendar, or if you go to this Garden Style site and you look at events and click the full calendar view, almost every weekend there's some community organization that is teaching about something related to the topics we're talking about, whether it's low impact development or how to garden or how to appreciate a wildscape. And so we encourage people to take a look at that, and we've even gamified it by doing a rewards program where you can sign up and get points and then earn coupons.
Well, I hope you get a lot of visitors to Garden Style SA as a result of this interview. Thank you for all the great work that you're doing in San Antonio, protecting our most precious natural resource, but also beautifying the city and letting people enjoy it. So,
well, thanks for having me.
All right, it's great to have you here. And coming up next is Daphne.